Oh, no, the Neo. There is no remote Neo. It does seem mono. So I'm just playing the same thing over and over, and I'll go over to DSU. Yeah, I can hear kind of like stereo-ish, in it. And I'll go back over to Neo. Yeah, So I switched off digital there. It's on on the sampling out because it's got a lock on the signal there. I think if I switch it, it should go off. No, it's still picking up the signal, but no sound there. There's not an equal signal on the. But when visual searching back, the lock signal goes out because there's still a signal there, but it's not like so I've got to activate it back onto. Yeah. Can also add the level match on the. It's crikey complicated. Also, I had to go back and recheck the matrix through going through the surround cycle. I think there's a WASIT signal I could use. I'm not sure if I can generate the REM through the. I think it's the zone. Which zone is it? I think it's the zone 2. Won't do it through the zone 3. So I can't send the signal out through the other one, even though it's just for a phone call. I don't know what it is. Okay, stop. I need to reroute the signal through so it goes through the matrix. Even though it's going to go through LCRs, and then I could use the invert to invert the signal to put it through the surround because it's going to have a specific characteristic. I could do a trim, a specific EQ trim through there. So when using Matrix and then switching over to Dolby Stereo digital, Dolby digital, Dolby Stereo digital, it should be just very few tiny dB difference, very tight tolerance. Don't know why I don't try and figure out how to wire up all the automation, but why would I want to need automation when I'm sat next to it? Automation's, when you're not near it, and things, you have specific things on film and such, and I'm not sure you could do that with this sort of system. All it is something there to generate like a trigger mode, a trigger suited voltage sort of thing, maybe a high frequency signal pulse or something, that you don't notice. And because I think that was the case with Sensorround, they had a pilot tone on the generator that would trigger the sensor round. There is something kind of noticeable on the I'm not sure if it's the laser disc as well, but I have to check. I have to check the laser disc, but it's kind of noticeable on the whether it be the DVD, Blu-ray. Just when the big main earthquake is about to occur, it could be just sort of print damage on the film. There's a kind of strange kind of like sort of sound, not like just a single. And I'm thinking, and it's just only seconds. Then there's it's when the all the magnitude is released and everything starts shaking and going this way, that way, this way, and up and down, and oh yeah, that's something hard to do with bass shakers, I think, because these hover things, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. I mean, but earthquakes kind of go like this and like that. They move around in such very complex wave patterns. So if you want to kind of like build something like that for the home, and it'd be not cheap, to sort of like and then you got to synchronize it, and then you got to like what movies you're going to play it with, can't just randomly use it, otherwise I think it's just not going to work. And it's got to be able to start up very quickly and then switch off very quickly. That's the problem with these, what do you call them, what's it called, it's like a wavy wind fan, infrasonic fan sort of thing. What's it called? I forgot what it's called now. But it's just like a generic fan that's been modified, and voltage, specific audio voltage going into it to sort of like start it up with a so many turn revolution, and you create an infrasonic. But the thing's got a stupid price tag on it, and it just to me it's like, how quick is it at start up and turn off? Whereas a sub-bass speaker, you can turn on, turn off, turn off, turn off, turn on and off, on and off, on and off. If you measure sound in the room and sort of like do a sine wave and then sort of measure it on the RTA and then see how long it takes to decay, so what? But these things, just going to be audible noise. You got to put them in specific places so you don't notice the fan motor. Otherwise, bass shakers are okay, but they can only go up and down. You can't kind of, they go that way, this way, that way, that way, that way. They can't do this sort of motion, and that, you could get an illusion or an impression that, if you were to put quite several array of bass shakers fitted in a type of wooden floor, not just using one, but say several, say maybe four for a specific location in the floor, and then another four and another, because you need quite a bit of energy, and I would say it's just going to resonate through the wood. It's not going to make the wood ripple or anything. I think this hobby sometimes can go a little bit more profession, whether we, get a little bit literal with. I mean, the simulated D seats for whether movies, gaming, and a seat doing this, and I'm thinking, car seats don't do that. They simply do not do that. if a car seat started doing that, I'd say, stop the bloody motor car. Where's the bloody ratchet? I've got to tighten down the bolts on this bloody seat. You know, car seats just don't do that. It's the vehicle that's doing that motion. So you got to make the floor itself have a specific floor to do that sort of, you know, so you get that kind. And then how do you do it so if it suddenly stops, you get thrown forward? Then you're going to have to wear seatbelts, you know. Even when gaming. Otherwise, can you imagine how many accidents? Oh dear. Oh dear, I don't know. Oh dear. I could try, say, certain movies and think maybe try something like that overrated movie Ford versus Ferrari. I think that movie's just totally overrated for the sound. I could try, you know, car pass-bys or something and think, and look at the RTA, look at the frequency response, look at the the spectrum lab and such, and how much energy is there, and thinking, now if I were to go down the road and just record with the camera and get some good recordings of traffic passing by, trucks, lorries, buses, a lorry or a bus is probably the best ones, because they are very large. They got big engines to pull them along, and they're pushing quite a bit of air, even when they're going at a modest speed of 30 miles an hour, and they come past, and you can feel it's like pushing the hand that way and stopping. I feel air. That's what you get with the vehicles, because it's pushing air, and that's one thing I just simply do not notice in all these movie soundtrack mixes. Otherwise, you got to have, where's the air got to come from? It's got to come from the base. It's got to come from the ports. That meaning you got to have something maybe special, like special multi channel encoding, decoding, and then have an array of ports. So at a specific, you know, you're just going to feel this, you know, that's might as well just be like some generic, I don't know, some sort of, I don't know, other version of an air conditioner. Got to think of how an air conditioner works and how much air, constant air it's pushing out. That cooling air, but how much constant air it's pushing out, and then how much air can you know, the excursion of a base driver, you know, it's got to do it correctly, otherwise it just seemed like a gimmick. Otherwise, you know, most of all the THX cinemas are best ones I've been to. I don't see my hair floating around, blowing around, or anything like that. I feel a lot of energy pressing against my body. That's what I can feel. A lot of energy, a lot of bass acoustical energy. But you know, yeah, not even NIMAXs would do that. You know, push all that air and such. You know, you go in a car or such and reload a bass bit, you know, and you get air turbulence coming out the ports, and one bass note sounds or whatever it's playing, it just doesn't sound realistic, and it's that high sound pressure, which is going to damage your hearing in the long run. It's going to damage your hearing, because a vehicle, a truck, a lorry or a bus coming down the road at a steady 30 mile outdoors, and then going past, and then I feel this, you know, and particularly even if it's on a dual carriageway or a motorway, and you got then the speed going 60, or I think it's 60 on a dual carriage and about 80 on a motorway, you get a lot more air turbulence blowing past you, which, you know, can make you feel a little bit unstable, because it's, you know, just like wind. You know, sometimes when it picks up speed and it's moving around circularly, it's coming down this way and it's going all around in certain patterns, and then, you know, it's enough sometimes just to lift you off your feet, and that's a lot of energy. Yet if you look at it on an SPL meter, it's not bending the needle into the 100 dB ranges. It's a total different sort of thing, you know, and you got to do that with audio. You got to make it so it seems like natural, but you got to have a film soundtrack that seems sound natural, like, you know. Anyway, I'm ranting. So yeah, and also I've got the aspect ratio switched down, so it's like, you know, because if I play a typical scope movie, usually the black bars are usually that thickness, and usually the width of the scope will just go out a bit wider. That's what widescreen, you know, even on letterbox or Laserdisc or some DVDs, you know, you get, you know, but when you got them 16:9 and it feels this, and you get tiny black bars topping, but it doesn't look right, because frankly the 16:9 TV is just the wrong aspect ratio. Should be a little bit more wider itself, you know, 21.9, but they don't make them as pretty large, as, you know, they only do them at a certain size, and they're mainly aimed for flipping, putting in front of a computer or something. Nah, really. That's why, you know, that's not too bad on a 16:9 screen. All I have to do is just change the zoom on the projector for a widescreen. Just pull it back a little bit so it brings the image down, and then for a scope movie, I'll just zoom it, push it out, enlarge it so it goes then to the width, but it's still mainly, you know, it's about the same roughly constant height as the of a widescreen movie. I'll probably have a play. I'm going to see where that Ford versus Ferrari is, and have a little mess with it for a couple of minutes. See what I can find on it.